Baby's Back Porch. We're out in the garden today. It's February, what, Fred? February 20th?
20.
February 20th. So we're toward the end of February, late winter, and there's a lot of pruning that needs to be done at this time of year. We're in Georgia, Zone 7. I'm on the border of 7A and 7B. And we have a pretty day, but we're going to have some more cold time. And we want to do the pruning of several things before they start to bud. And I'm going to start with grapevines. We have some 3-year grapevines, and I pruned them really heavily last year, and they were just covered up in grapes. The birds really enjoyed them. We didn't get all that many grapes, but the vines produced well. So I'm going to show you how I learned to prune the grapevines. So here we have my grapevines. And I planted these grapevines before I really knew very much about grapes. And I planted them too close, and that's okay. They're bearing pretty well. We got lots of grapes last year, and the birds actually enjoyed them. What I have learned since I planted grapes, I'm just going to pan and show you how big these grapevines grew. They're everywhere. And they were cut pretty severely last year, pruned pretty severely. And from everything I've learned and read and studied and asked, grapes really need to be pruned pretty heavily every year because they only bear on new growth, and they very quickly will get out of control, and the actual grapes need sunlight in order to ripen properly. So you have to prune out to make sure you don't have too much foliage. So we're going to show you how we're going to prune this one. And it's not in great shape to start with, but we're going to clean it up. And I've got help today. Yay! So we're going to get this done for you. Okay, so looking at something this big and overgrown, it's kind of hard to get a handle on what you want to do. And so just so you know, we're going to get rid of about 90% of this, and what we have left will grow this big again. So your basic parts of your grapevine, sorry, got a shadow, are your trunk, and then you have suckers that come off of that trunk, and we're going to choose one of these to be our main trunk. And then off that trunk, we're going to allow 2 cordons, which are little branches that come off, to grow. And from those cordons, there will be spurs. And the spurs are where we'll get our new growth, where new canes will grow to create grapes. So we have to make some decisions here. We've got 3 potential trunks. And we want ones that have some cordons growing off, little offshoots that are strong, and we can spread them out on our trellis. So we want to cut away the other potential trunks here, even though, touch that one, Mary, even though that one is the biggest, it has no new cordon growth coming off of it, so it goes. Okay? This is my sister-in-law, Mary, by the way. You've heard me speak of her. And everything that's attached to it gets pulled off and out of the way.
This one?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah. So,
And we have 2 left.
if you'll, no, wait. Yeah, this is one we want to keep.
Okay.
Okay, so this one needs to go. This one is from that other one, but it's needs to be cut off about right there. This is from the other one that is actually too close because, you know, I planted them too close. Might need the loppers. So the tools you need are a hand clipper, loppers, and maybe even a little pruning saw. We haven't had anything so far that needed that, but older grapevines, you might. Cut this one right here. Okay, hold on. So what we've got here now is, I don't think I'm doing too well here with the camera. You've got this one trunk left, and we're going to pick two, and you can see them there, two cordons to come off of that. And I'm actually only going to leave the cordons about 2 or 3 feet because mine are planted so close. But if you have them planted properly, 12 feet apart, then you'll want to let them go about 6 feet long. So we're going to trim these cordons.
Let me go down to the bottom? Or?
I'm thinking.
Okay.
No, that stays. This trim it like about up here, so it'll, yeah. And trim this doohickey off, and it can wrap back around. Okay, now this is one of the cordons we've chosen to leave. And if you see the little spurs, or little spur buds, you want them to be about a fist apart. And you want to have half a dozen or so at least, because this is where your new growth comes from. And the little spurs will grow out of this, and those will become your canes. So we're done with this vine. All we got to do is clean up. And so if you see, we've got the trunk, we've got 2 cordons. Each cordon has spurs that are the little places where the spurs will grow. And those spurs will become the new canes for the new grapes to grow. And that's really all there is to it. Just be vicious and ruthless. Just cut it all away, because it'll all grow back. All of this overgrown wood here you see, that's all from one season. So that's basically it. Quick recap: you leave a trunk, you leave 2 cordons. Each cordon should have spurs. You should aim for about a fist apart, and according to how much space you have, they can be up to 6 feet long, and you'll get plenty of growth from your grapes next year. Just to give you an idea of how much we're talking about, this is the 3rd wheelbarrow like this full, and if you'll look now, you'll see it looks very, very clean. Still looks natural, but so much has been cut away. Now about July, I'll come back and take another picture for you, and you'll see the trellises again, totally covered with new growth, and we hope grapes. Thank you for joining us on Debbie's Back Porch. See you again tomorrow.